Are you guys ready?
I know I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Y'all ready? This is J Mike
and David Lopez.
And this is the Hip Hop Hour, and tonight we are featuring another producer, another one from Indianapolis.
Yeah,
the
boy.
young producer named Shxps. But there's no O in there.
There's no
only
O.
X's.
X's all
There's
day.
no vowels in that.
Woo!
Oh my God! I hope y'all are ready. Right now, we got the opener coming your way, boy. We about to be jamming up in here. This is our second to last show, so let's turn up.
It's about to get real.
What's that sound?
The Hip Hop Hour.
Woo-hoo!
This your boy D-Lo.
Blow the whistle.
Hey.
Blow the whistle.
Too short.
Hey. Blow the whistle. Hey. Blow the whistle. Hey.
Man,
Are y'all hyped yet?
I'm hype. I know I'm hype.
You're hype?
I'm
'Cause
hype.
I'm hype too.
Even during finals or pre-finals week, I'm
Pre-finals.
hype.
Even during pre-finals, we hype in here. This is J Mike.
And David Lopez.
And you are tuning in to the loudest song right now. Y'all probably couldn't hear any of that. We're going to take that back. This is J Mike.
and David Lopez.
And you are tuning in to the
Hip Hop Hour.
boy. That's that sound right there. That's that sound. I hope y'all enjoy that opener tonight. We got Shxps on our show.
Here we go.
Straight out of Indy, producer, dope dude. He's got some nice songs, man. He's got some nice little repertoire up his sleeve. You know
Can't
what
wait
I'm
to
saying?
hear it.
You know
Can't
what
wait
I'm
to hear
saying? Yeah, so I can't either, man. I can't either. But we will be right back after this short break. Brought to you by our sponsors for the show.
Absolutely. We're getting paid for this, folks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is definitely endorsed. Okay, but anyways, we'll be right back. So stay tuned. This is WGRE's 91.5, the Hip Hop Hour brought to you by your sound alternative. We'll be right back. What's that sound?
Coming to you live from 91.5 WGRE FM. From boom bap to modern day trap, hailing from the Nat BK and back is none other than J Mike and David Lopez, bringing you the Hip Hop Hour.
I love that part, man. I love it. Yo, my man D-Lo, David
up,
Lopez.
sir?
What's good, baby? How you doing? How's
Chilling, man. Chilling. I'm actually really interested this week in particular about some more technical stuff about hip hop. See, we talk about hip hop all the time.
Okay.
Generally.
Okay,
But
well,
it's important.
give a brief overview of the topic real quick.
Well,
What we talking about?
So, I don't know if you listeners know this, but we have a rapper actually in our midst. We're not just some guys talking about hip hop. We're one guy just talking about hip hop and a rapper. So,
All right.
J Mike, I just wanted to ask you
What's good, buddy?
about more of the technical side of creating a song. So, just my first question for you is you being one of obviously many rappers, how do you pick a topic for a song?
How do I pick a topic, man? I think what comes with topics is what comes to what's relevant to you. And what people, I think it's a balance game, man. It's all about a balance of what's relevant to you, but also what do people want to hear? What's like the craze at the moment, you know? In terms of like sound and in terms of topic. I think topics are recyclable all throughout. Like you could always talk about love, and you could always talk about, you know, being the best at whatever you do, and you could talk about, or you could just go on a song people really like to just hear you showcase your skills, whether it's singing, you know, people are like, man, that's that Marvin Gaye song right there, you hear that note, you know what I'm saying, like you just singing, or like whether it's just a rapper just snapping, you know, like, oh, did you hear King Los, like, dang, that was nasty, or that. You know, I think it depends on, I guess, the sound and how well you deliver it, man. Honestly, delivery is like, I think, arguably 60-70% of the battle.
Right. So how well you can deliver will
Right.
we'll see what you can actually write about.
Yeah, man. It's a lot like, it's a lot like spoken word and acting and all that into one, because you're embodying a different character. Usually when you're like you're performing. It's almost like an altered you. It's another part of yourself, whether you're singing, whether you're rapping, you know, whether you're doing another type of performance. And so it's just like embodying that otherness in you and being able to like utilize it and just like push it forth and really like deliver it strongly.
Right. Are there any topics we can't rap about?
I don't think anything's taboo, man. I really don't. I think, like I said, it's all about delivery. It's all about, like, you know, the twist that you put to it. It's all about who your crowd is, like who your marketing your crowd is. You know, I don't know. Do you have anything in mind that you think of necessarily when you think of, you know, what this is something I definitely cannot picture an artist talking about or rapping about at all?
Filing out taxes.
Oh, sure you can. You can put a funny twist on that.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. No,
I could definitely see like Tyler the Creator just making a total song about just like how that's like the punchline, and then I had to file my damn taxes, and then it's just like, oh,
Golf Wang.
Yeah, and it's just like okay.
Right, okay. That you can't really talk about.
Yeah, dude, you can't.
No, you're right. No, because I feel you can
it's
pretty
a part
much
of the art. It's like saying like, okay, this is something you can't. Like, part of being an artist is also part of like counterculture. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna do what someone tells you to do and what someone tells you not to do. You know? Unless you're like, you know, part of the bigger corporations, and if you want to listen to that, if you want to follow the crowd, all that type of stuff. But part of being an artist in that sense is being unique in your own sound, delivery, message, all that, and also just doing whatever the F you want, and then just like owning it, you know? Like, that's your style. That's what I do. This is what I do. You know, Lupe was seen as like going, you know, loco because he wanted to like make songs that were very consciously provocative, right? And he was like ostracized for that, but that's who he is, you know, and he has his own market for that. And I still think he's one of the greatest lyricists of our generation, and I argue in hip hop history. And he's such a clever person, but you know, not everyone's gonna mess with his songs if they're not like the show goes on, and, superstar, and like you are what you say, you know, you know, and then that comes back to hooks, right? So
we have a topic, right? We have the thing that we're rapping about. Actually, before we go to hooks, how do we start our first like stanza verses right before like a bridge or something like that, or hook, depending on how you structure your song, right? First couple verses, what do we do? Like,
what do you mean?
For example, so let's say I'm opening my song. I have my topic. Let's say I want to rap about beanies and how cool I look in my beanie.
Okay.
How do I start a song?
How do you start?
Do I start big? Do I start like, you know? Do I build? I
think, you know, this comes with. I think you could either have there's two techniques I think you can go. There's the one where you fail. That's not a technique. I'm just letting you know this is how like.
Two ways you can go.
There's two ways you can go, but then you could also fail. So the two ways you can go, I say, is like an explosive entrance. You just like, you come out the gate just like with something just catches your attention immediately. Like, that's something that's strong, right? And so, like, you know, usually, like, a good example of this is like, first things first, like, you know, and anything you hear like after that, or like, first off, you know, like Hit 'Em Up by Tupac, you know, first off, if you, and then all that stuff. And then like, or you could have the very subtle, quiet, just like very sonically pleasing like entrance, like something that's like maybe poetic, or just like something that's just a little softer. That's
the
just
real
like
is back. The real is back. Flow bananas hit. Peel this back.
And what you find is, and anyways, so it's just like it's the smooth or like the explosive, and it's a way to capture an attention, because the way you could either ride a beat is either you could just like own it, just like aggressively own a beat, or you could just like kind of flow with it, and then people will go with that. And things that I find that just don't work with people or are people who don't match the beat. And I feel like, you know, being an artist, there's a lot more than just like rapping to a rhythm, you know, a measure, you know. it's not just like there's not just a ticker in the back. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a beat. There's instrumentation. There's there's a wave. You gotta ride with that, right? So that comes with kind of a responsibility, and that's why delivery is such a big part of it. You know,
Right.
how you choose to deliver that is going to affect the way that people are going to repeat it. You know, when they hear the song, I got dead presidents to represent me. It's just like you say that with like a kind of swag to it, right? If Drake sang this, it'd be totally different.
It would be a completely different song.
I hate bringing up Drake every single show that we're doing. But it's just like that's just the polar opposite of what I thought about this, right?
Yeah.
And then so I don't know. I just feel like that's a totally different sound, right? Totally different sound. And so I think delivery is a lot of the battle. People don't, they don't embody a character that people just find original and unique and attached to, So I just, delivery is my favorite part to just mess around with. I think that's something that Chance is really good at. Doing right now. Kendrick, he's really good at that. I say Childish Gambino is definitely one of the best. Like, you think of this guy as comedian, goofy and stuff like that, but his delivery is just so good, and he's owned the style that he is, like this nerdy, hopeless romantic who can snap.
Right.
You're just the guy you think who's the quiet artist in the back of the room who, like, if you just tease him, he just snaps, and he's just like da-da, and you're just like, whoa, my bad, dude, my bad. That's why no one picks with him anymore, right? And then so that's like his style. So it's all about delivery and the style that you own, man.
Cool. So we have our intro. So bottom line is for whoever's listening and wants to write a song, your opener has to be, it seems like, memorable, and it also has to introduce the tone of the song. It sounds like what you're saying.
Yes.
Right? Like, it has to, you don't necessarily have to come in hard.
It doesn't always have to be memorable.
Really?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, you would want that, but like if you're trying to go with something that's memorable every single time, I feel like you kind of lose like the purpose of it. Like I really need something that's just gonna catch their attention. I feel like in time when you build credibility as an artist, you can work into that. But I feel like as you start out, you need something that's gonna initially capture people's attention. And I think you have to earn that trust of the listenership that they're gonna listen more than just like the first, because we often judge like new artists by the first thing that happened, like how they first sound, right? And how like their first delivery is, how their voice sounds on the track. And we usually make that judgment within like 7 seconds of the song.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then, but by the time you hear a J. Cole song and you think it sounds kind of bad at first, but it's J. Cole.
Yeah, so it'll get better at some point.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's just like you earn that credibility of your listenership after a certain amount of time.
Okay, so come out however you want, essentially, either smooth or aggressively, but it has to be good and it has to go with the beat.
Yes.
Or you have to, like you said, you have to ride the beat.
You have to work with it.
Yeah, you have to work with it.
Yeah.
You can't.
If it's a really smooth
it's its
beat,
own
entity.
Right,
it's not just there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Actually, so before we even go to the hook, because I know that's gonna be like the most fun part to talk about.
Okay.
Selecting a beat. How do you do that?
Well, it depends. Do you some people select beats because they don't have anything else to do. They don't know how to make a beat, all that type of stuff. And then some people make their own beats, and then some people collaborate with producers and find a sound that works for them. I think with trying to find an instrumental that works with you, it's all about finding your style again, and it's that's the thing though, with trying to find a beat like online and stuff like that. You're just trying to look for something that someone else has already created,
right?
Like a sound that someone else already kind of has. And so it's all about trying to find the style. That, are you a boom bap? Like what do you closely resemble? And I think when you're new, I think if you don't know how to produce a beat, you don't know a producer who can work with you and a sound that works for you, I think doing covers of like really well-known songs and then putting your own twist to it, that's a way to develop your sound. But then the thing, you don't want to be stuck in that, because artists who get stuck in that that YouTube fame of just like, oh, he did a great cover of this one song by Jay-Z way back when, whatever. So you don't want to be stuck in that.
Right.
And so at some point you want to start coming out with your own material and stuff like that. But I think finding a beat just takes a good ear.
Right.
And it's hard. It's harder to find a beat that everyone rocks with genuinely. And I think it takes a good ear. I think it takes, like, honestly, it takes time to find, like, that thing that you find your market drawing towards, you know what I mean?
Right.
So keep talking about what you want to talk about.
All right, well, it looks like, kids, if you've been taking notes so far, what you have to do is come out of the gate either very smooth or come out really aggressively, depending on what the beat calls for, and also depending on your style. It seems as though creating your own style, creating your own persona is one of the most important things you can do as a rapper. So if for some reason in Greencastle, Indiana, or if one of our online listeners wants to become a rapper and is thinking about it, developing your own style seems to be the most important thing. And just from speaking to J Mike, what you get is you develop your own style through a lot of practice and through really being honest with whatever persona you want to create.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So the hook. We're here. Mid part of the song. You really want to catch it. This is it.
Yes.
How do you create a hook?
Hooks are really just like simple. It's just something that you can, a cadence that you want people to like repeat. A hook is something that is catchy. A hook is something that is supposed to be repeated. A hook is something that's supposed to like, that's supposed to be a chant, or like something that's supposed to be like a melody, or, you know, something that's supposed to invigorate some type of like, I want to sing along with this, because that's the part that everyone's supposed to sing, you know. That's where the MCing comes in, you know. That's how you MC the crowd. It's just like, and OPP, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, and let me clear my throat. It's like, those are hooks, right? That's just like, even if it's just a phrase, get something that people can latch onto, because at the end of the day, they want something. They want to be a part of the experience. That's a hook. That's a hook. That's what a hook does. The verse is for the artist. The verse is for them to do their showmanship. The hook is where you break the fourth wall and you bring everyone in it. You know what I mean? So that's what the hook does. In terms of writing a good hook, it's all about the type of person you are. You know, there's different types of hooks out there. You know, there's the Drake type hooks, there's like Kendrick type of hooks, there's Jay-Z hooks, there's Eminem hooks, and it's all depending on the type of artist that you are. Are you know, what are you gonna go for? Nowadays people think of hooks, they're like, okay, I need someone to sing, you don't need all that, you know. You could just take it back to just like a simple phrase and just repeat it, like, you know, whatever it takes, right? So that's what a hook is. Anyways, on the line we have our man from Indianapolis, producer Shxps. We will be right with him after these short messages, so stay tuned. Here we go. This is J Mike
and David Lopez,
and you are listening to What's That Sound?
The Hip Hop Hour.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Stay on the line. Stay on the air. All that jazz. Woo! All right. We are back in the studio. This is J Mike and David Lopez.
Or you can say it. That's fine. No, that's cool.
All right, go ahead. J Mike
and David Lopez.
All right.
There we go.
And we got Shxps in the building. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, guys?
Good, man. It's good to hear your voice. Good to hear you out there and alive, brother. How you feeling? How's your day? Let's get the mundane.
It's been a crazy 48 hours. Like last night, I was pulling some stuff together, and then I got the email that I'll be doing this tonight, and I've got a show tomorrow, and I got a show next week, and I've got a lot of stuff going on, so it's good.
Hold up. Okay. I got a show tonight. I got a show tomorrow. I got to fly out to Vegas after this, and then after that, I got to hit up to Cali. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot going on right now.
You're a busy guy.
Oh, my goodness.
That's how it feels, though.
That's dope, man.
Is it like this often, or are you just getting a really rushed week?
Right now it's been like a really rushed, like pretty much month period.
Okay.
But I've really been picking up on a lot of shows and getting some music done and just trying to set off next year with a big bang.
Awesome.
I like the way you're ending this year with the Big Bang.
Hey,
so
man.
20
Just like the theory.
Man, I have to.
I'm with it, man. I respect the hustle. I respect the grind. So we're going to jump right into this interview, man. You ready for this?
I'm ready as I'll get.
That's good. That's good.
Awesome.
So we're just going to start out, how did you get into hip-hop? Just tell the people, like, what it's like to be a producer, how you got into it, and how long have you been in the game?
Well, for me, as producing music, I've always been, like, a really creative person. No matter where, like, since I was a kid, like, I would, like, be a really creative person. I like to draw. I like to make sculptures out of clay and just, like, make cardboard art and stuff. And really, music was just another medium that I did weller in. And I played keyboard as a kid, played a bunch of instruments, and just progressed with it.
Awesome. So you began off from the womb as creative and musical. That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dope, man. So, I mean, how would you describe your style as a producer?
At least currently now, I've always really been like an ambient sort of chill wave trap music. A lot of just like relaxation kind of repetitive beats. But now I'm starting to get more into progressive electro house music with like a mix of trap. It's really getting actually pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's kind of catching on to that wave. We had two producers come in last week, and that was kind of like the sound they were going for too.
Yeah.
So
why does your style, like you just mentioned, you went from one style predominantly to another? Why does that evolution happen? Just for our listeners, like how does that sort of evolution occur?
Well, it feels like, at least with most producers, like, it goes as waves. Like, some producers will stick with working with 808 presets, and then they move over to going back to boom bap. It's kind of like that for me. But I live near Chicago and whatnot, so a lot of the influence of my music comes from there. Like, I did some footwork music on my last mixtape called Hella, and it had, like, a lot of footwork, DJ Rashad style kind of beats on there. But now I'm sort of moving into the progressive Detroit 90s house music, mixing it with modern electro.
That's awesome, man.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that's an innovative type of sound right there. Yeah.
It is, and I'm putting my own twist to it, so it's not like it really that blends in too heavy with the rest of the sound. And coming from Indianapolis, which is I wouldn't say exactly dry spot for electronic music, but it's a place where it can get a really good start.
Right.
So now that you're kind of talking about that, do you think that Indianapolis kind of has its own sound yet? Being from there, do you think it's like, and if you do you think it's big enough to put it alongside with Chicago, Houston, New York, West Coast, or describe Indianapolis sound to me right now?
Well, that's the thing, like, coming from, like, I'm really deep into the hip-hop community around here. I know, and I've worked with a lot of people, such as Duke Algebra and Xavier Clark, and, like, we have, like, pretty much our own sound. That's how we found each other. We did our first show, like, well, it was actually my first show, but it was, like, probably 3 or 4 years ago. I did it at the Emerson Theater, and I met him, and his sound was, like, to what my beats are like.
Okay.
And so we sort of found our connection and worked together and made a couple songs through that. Yeah, on the topic of saying that Indianapolis has its own sound, I could agree to say it does, but it takes influence from other places, just like kind of all music does in a sense.
Right.
I feel that. Okay, so going off of that, I know David was going to ask you a question about.
Yeah, I mean, so you were kind of talking about the industry itself. And from what we've heard from a bunch of artists that we've had and producers, it gets kind of difficult. What keeps you going in the industry as a producer? What are your motivations? What are your influences?
I feel like the thing that really keeps me like wanting to go back to make music is just looking at other different sounds and listening to them and thinking, what could be better that I could do out of this? Like, this is great and all, but what can I personally take from this and make better of it? Like, what's something I can build off of that? And it's not necessarily like copy paste and edit, but it's more of taking it as an influence personally and creating my own new form out of it.
Okay. So do you work with any artists out of the city who kind of resemble the sound that you're trying to go for? Or any, like, not even necessarily in the city, but any artists in general? Like, do you have a close relationship that you kind of want to expand upon or extend?
I really want to get closer, at least to what Bloomington has right now. I've got a friend out there named Jaron Braxton, who is just a phenomenal graphic designer and rapper, music producer, and what he does is just outstanding. And I feel like it's something I'd probably be closer into like working with, because I mean, as much as I love to say I'm like with the rap scene, I'm really close to it, but my musical genres are so wide and expansive. It's really hard just to boil me down and get one single genre out of me. I mean, I'm everywhere.
I mean, that's good though. I think that's a good trait to have, that you're a versatile producer.
Right.
And the thing is, I'm not afraid to like try new things either. Like, I'm one of those kids that could literally walk into a hip hop venue, go into a heavy metal venue, and still have the same energy in me. Like, I just love music.
Right.
That's fair, man. I appreciate that, though. I like the fact that you can appreciate all types of sounds without having to have that barrier with it. Because honestly,
as long as it's good and it's hard worked on and it has a good energy, I'm in it.
That's fair, because that's, especially as a producer, that's where you get a lot of your influences from. That's how, you kind of take from different genres. I know I was listening to interview with Dr. Dre, and he was talking about, I listen to everything. You just take from all the different types of genres. That's how you become a producer.
Yeah, that makes you better.
You're not a rap producer, you're a music producer. So I respect the fact that you're able to do that and appreciate all types of music. I think that's really good on your part.
Thank you.
So one more industry question is, what are some of the most difficult things about working as a producer? What are show us a little bit of the dark side of it.
At least the dark side of it is, of course, at least on my end, I mean, I'm mainly alone when it comes to just like coming into the rap scene, and it's mainly one of those things where you got to have like really good social skills. And I feel like if people don't really have like the proper social skills, or not knowing how to communicate, and because I've had people hit me up and send me links, and it's just like, that's not really how you do it. It's like one of those, if I know you through a friend, or if I've heard you personally and explored you out, then by all means send me music. But if it's like some guy from Montana sending me his mixtape, it's like I just don't have the attention span to care.
Right.
That's fair. And then like you got other stuff going on. Like you said, you got different like events that you got to attend to, and so you got a lot of other stuff on your plate. So if you don't have a personal relationship and they want you to have the time of day, is that really what happens though? They just send you links. They don't say, hi, my name is da da da, or just like, hey, check this out, and here's a link. That's what happens.
Well, I mean, I'm only taking that as an example because a couple of weeks ago on Twitter, I had this one tweet where I made fun of the Montana rap scene. I was saying anything is possible if there's a Montana rap scene. And this one guy, from Montana hit me up and was all like, yo, you should check out my mixtape. I'm like, what?
Or nah.
Hey,
like,
man.
All right.
Did you end up checking it out or nah?
No, I did not. I just the way he approached me was just, I don't know. It was too weird for me to really want to like. Oh, okay.
Right. What are some tips that you would have for potential artists on how to approach a producer?
That's a good question.
Man, I mean, it all depends though on who you know, and like if you go to a show and you all play together, like greet yourself, be like, hey, I'm performing tonight. I know this guy. And if you've heard about the artist you're trying to talk to, then be like, yeah, I've heard about this and this. But like, of course, it's one of those. Don't be too much like.
Don't be a fanboy. Yeah.
Right.
Because I had one of those moments where I met Matthias at a show in Bloomington, and I met him, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is actually him. Like, I was excited, but I knew how to be chill and whatnot.
Right.
That's fair, man. Did you this is just a recent Indianapolis hip hop, the Shxps Festival. I never know how to say that word. Yeah, it's just a weird word to say. Did you get a chance to meet up with like Mick Jenkins and any of like the big performers who were performing at that hip hop festival?
Yeah, I actually that's where I actually met Matthias first, and then I met Jaron Braxton and a lot of people. Like pretty much ever since Shxps, I feel like my at least credibility in the hip hop scene out here has gone up because of it. And I feel like Shxps really just outdone itself and really helped everybody, no matter what.
That's good,
But
man.
back to Nick Jenkins, though, I unfortunately did not get to see him because I'm only 20 years old, and the venue that he was performing at was 21 and over.
Oh, man.
I
So me
hate
and my
that,
buddy
dude.
sat out front and cried.
I hate that, man. I
Yeah.
hate when that happens. That's such a buzzkill. Age being a barrier, especially since we have so many young artists. Dude.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
artists starting off as like 18.
That's true.
We have to wait like.
No, I feel old.
That's what I'm saying, man. Oh man. But
Yeah.
okay. So with all that being said, do you have any late projects coming up, like with you personally, that you plan on dropping, like a beat tape or
The exclusive stuff. We're
Yeah,
asking
man.
for that extra little.
What's that golden ticket? You know,
Yeah.
when are you dropping it?
Yeah, I'm actually working on an album right now that's going to be, of course, a mix of trap music and house music and a little bit of dubstep.
Okay.
And that's coming out hopefully early next year, depending on if I get all the people I'm working with on it
Okay.
and get their vocals mixed in and whatnot. I'm maybe going to try to rap. I'm not sure because
Hey.
I did a little bit of rapping years ago and it was fun, but I don't really. I'm better off on the keys than the
That's
voice.
fair. Hey man, if you need a voice, holla at your boy. Name Mike. I'm taking requests. So if you need me on a track, I'm willing to lay it down. But anyways, but that's cool, man. So it's so you're producing an album, and every track is gonna have vocals on it, or they're gonna be tracks without vocals.
I'm hoping to get vocals on every track at least, because my last project was a big mix of tracks that were just instrumentals and then tracks were just features.
Okay.
But if I really want to try to get a lot of people on it, because I've got a lot of friends that are trying to get some beats for me to be on it. So if I can get them on it, that'd be awesome.
That's fair, man.
Right.
That's fair.
As long as it fits the aesthetic of the album, then by all means.
That's good. What are the influences behind this album? What are the sounds that you're going for? I know you mentioned some before, but for this specific project, what are they?
I'm trying to think. Like, at least my biggest influences are just like a lot of my recent graphic art. Like, it's been a big influence onto me. A lot of, at least sound-wise, I'd probably have to give a shout-out to Geotheory and a lot of artists from Selection. Those, like, yeah, of course, they're like the dominant sound right now, but they have such a big impact onto what the future sound is. And a lot of the local hip-hop artists out here are starting to pick up on what the new sound is, and that's what pretty much is giving Indianapolis that own sound as well.
That's good to hear, man. All right, well we're gonna wrap up with the last question, man. So
It's a big one.
this is all you, dog. You got 1 minute on the clock. What's the fingerprint you want to leave on music in general?
On the history.
I want to be able to give a sort of vintage but innovative new sound into music, and I want to be able to show people that we can go to venues again and we can have fun and not just stand there and look up on the stage and watch people do things. We can actually dance and have fun with ourselves and talk to some girls. Like, people be super awkward at venues. It's weird.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Have like audience participation, has that like decreased, do you think, over the years? Because that's
Oh yeah.
It depends. Like, this is my thing. Like, I've been going through Afton shows, like, for my past 2 shows, and I really did not like them because of attendance and how the crowds are just set up and they weren't, like, fully into it. And I don't feel like that's necessarily an artist's fault, but it's just the amount of people, how the venue was set up, and just business overall and how much ticket prices were. It's not good business, not for the artist and not for the audience members themselves. It's just, I don't like the way they set it up.
That's fair, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been quite an interesting and insightful interview. I really like that comment you made about how you want your music to be vintage and innovative. That was
dope.
a great
dope.
combination
Good
of
mix.
words. I like that.
I mean, I'm a 90s baby. I got to bring back the best of the best.
Yeah,
hip-hop.
absolutely.
Take it back to the 90s. I don't know if you heard
Exactly.
Logic's new album, but that's what I'm referring to. Young
I
Jesus.
caught
You got
that.
it?
Yeah, I
All right,
caught
cool,
that.
cool. But anyway, Shxps, thank you for tuning. Thank you for calling in. And everyone out there, thank you for tuning in. This is J Mike
And David Lopez.
and our friend here. What's your name, man? Do yourself a quick shout out.
I just want to give a quick shout out really quickly to all my friends back in Carmel. I want to give a shout out to Planetary Records, and I want to give a shout out to Colt 67, and a shout out to everybody in Cincinnati that came to the last show, because that show was pretty crazy.
All right, dude. Dope. All right, and finally, you are listening to What's That Sound, Shxps? What is the name of this show? 3 words.
Hip, hop, and hour.
Thank you, my man. Oh, I represent, man. I appreciate it, my brother. All right, yo, thank you so much for calling in. We will be right back with Shxps' latest production, Burn It Down. You can not download it, but you can tune in on to his SoundCloud. So if you want to be interested in getting more of his material, go to SoundCloud, type in SHXPS. It's Shxps, but the O is replaced with an X, so be wary of that. And we will be right back with his track after this quick liner. Thank you for tuning in. right. This is J Mike
and David Lopez,
and this is the Hip Hop Hour pre-finale. So I hope you guys are ready for next week's show. We're gonna be doing a compilation of all the artists that we've had on our show.
Can't wait.
Jeremiah Stokes to Shxps, back to Pope Adrian Bless to Flacco.
Man.
We're gonna do everyone. We're gonna do one more last round.
Tish Hyman.
So Tish, I hope you guys are ready because this is about to be a great show.
Dude, I mean, just want to say real quick before the news comes on. This has been a really fun season.
Yeah, dude.
Of the Hip Hop Hour.
It's been great. It's been the debut season.
The
premiere season.
And it's only going to get better and better and better. Make sure that you're sharing this show with your friends.
Huge shout out to Javi.
Absolutely.
And Laura in the back here. Been
helping
huge
since day
contributors to the show. Huge shout out to Lindsay Jones.
Oh, absolutely.
Our
Lindsay,
PR.
If and I hope you are listening, you're incredible and you're amazing.
Beautiful.
You're the best.
Great.
Gerald, you sir are the hostess with the mostest.
You are the bestest with the exactly. So
all right, and he's the rapper.
No, but anyways, this is the Hip Hop Hour. This is WGRE 91.5. You know, the plug. This is our last song, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib, off of their album from 2014, Pinata. This is the song Thuggin'.
I do that all the time,
bruh?
I thug all the time. So
you thug all the time?
Thuggin' is it resonates personally because I'm a thug. You can tell by my dress.
That's great.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to Seth Friedman for giving me a hellish paper that I had to write over for Thanksgiving break. Much love to you, Seth. I hope you're tuning in. But anyways, all right. This has been great. As always, stay beautiful, Greencastle. Stay poppin'.
Adios.
With all the music that y'all are putting on out there. And we will see you guys next week for the
finale.
Finale, baby.
Woo!